Today I fucked up by blowing my buddy's meticulous party cover up to his parents. So this today I fucked up happened almost 20 years ago, but I just found out about it yesterday. High school graduation, early 2000s. It was a heady time. Nickelback, Nelly, and Avril Lavigne ruled the airwaves. Nokia 6100s were state of the art. Hard to explain to anyone who wasn't there. A friend offered to host a graduation rager for a group of us, since his parents were out of town and had a decently sized place at the end of a quiet neighborhood, so we could party without interruption from the local constabulary. It was a hot day when we walked down the football field outside our school, received our diplomas, and were sent into the world. I grabbed my boyfriend, we took all the requisite pictures with both our families, and then immediately left for the party so we could get stupid drunk and celebrate the end of 4 years of hell. Luckily, this was a Midwestern state where underage drinking is the rule rather than the exception, with more bars per capita than most of the rest of the states combined, so easy to do. It was sweaty, frenetic, and a hell of a great time. As evening turned into night, I nodded knowingly at my friend, the host, and he winked and showed me to a guest bedroom. "All yours," he told me. "Have fun." I lured my boyfriend into the bedroom, locked the door, and showed him the box of condoms I'd bought. We had what I thought at the time was an amazing night, although I recognize it now as two inebriated and completely sexually inexperienced teenagers awkwardly grunting and thrusting for a few minutes. We managed to use 2 or 3 condoms, which I carefully disposed of by wrapping in a couple layers of tissues and throwing them in the trash. Next morning, hungover, we offered to help my friend clean up, and he waved us off. "I got it," he said. I gave him a big hug, and my boyfriend and I left for a whole day of hangover-related activities, something I can only fantasize about at my current age. Almost 2 decades elapse. My boyfriend and I break up. We move to different states. I get married, have kids, and find myself back in the town I graduated in by random circumstances. So I hunted up a few people on Facebook, told them I'd be in town, and got together with them, one of them being my buddy who threw the party. As we began to reminisce, my buddy tosses a sly grin in my direction and points a finger at me. "I just want you to know," he said, "remember that end of graduation party we threw? I got my ass beat because of you and boyfriend." So he told me the story. He'd taken meticulous care to clean up after the party. He'd sorted through empty Zima, "You had to be there," and Miller Lite cans and distributed them carefully in other recycling bins nearby. He'd cleaned the house thoroughly, did the laundry, cleaned ashes out of the backyard fire pit, strategically placed surly teenager-type messes in appropriate locations, as if he'd played Xbox all weekend. The whole 9 yards. His parents came back home, and for 3 days, nothing happened. Then one morning, his mom approached him angrily, jabbed a finger in his chest, and said, "What the fuck happened here last weekend?" Apparently, this was maybe the first time in his life my buddy had ever heard his mom curse, and she was pissed. But it seems his cleaning was not as thorough as he thought. Now, I was confused. It had been almost 20 years, true, but I remembered distinctly having wrapped up these condoms thoroughly in Kleenex. Nobody was unrolling what looked like might be a snot rag. So even if he missed emptying the trash in that room, it should have been okay. Well, unfortunately, nobody didn't include his dog. His dog, who fished at least 2 used and very full condoms out of a garbage can, carried them into the living room where his parents were sitting, and proceeded to completely shred them, flinging the contents all over the carpet, furniture, and walls. I mean, shredded and flung everywhere, like a Jackson Pollock painting. Since they weren't his, he was forced to admit that some people had come over and ended with him having to clean up the detritus from our drunken sexual escapades. I was understandably aghast. I asked him why he didn't say anything sooner, as I would have absolutely and deservedly taken the fall for it, and he waved it off. "Didn't want to embarrass you," he said, "that's what friends are for." Folks, I'm sorry, but friends don't come better than that. I bought him all the drinks he wanted and paid for his dinner, and Facebook messaged my ex to tell him he owed our buddy a bottle of expensive liquor for his trouble. Too long didn't read. My buddy tried to hide the fact he hosted a graduation party at his parents' house, and was found out because his dog found our used condoms and shredded them in front of his parents. Human, what's that in your mouth, boy? Doggo, oh, just some party spunk that I'm going to generously distribute all over this room for fun. Edit, I did not expect this to blow up. Shout out to the dog, who has been affectionately named Spunky, for giving me the juice to get this far. And of course, a big thank you to all the patrons for enjoying the comment and awarding me with my very first shiny medal, wholesome sea lion and other various awards. This is amazing. Also, feel for your buddy. I got caught out in a similar fashion. My family were away for 2 whole weeks, I was 19-20, and I threw the first party I'd ever been to. Took down all the decks that could get broken, and packed them up safe, made sure there were strategically placed buckets so I wouldn't have to scrub the carpets. Even when I held the party was carefully thought out so the house would have time to air out any smells. Got away with it for a week, and then my nana found the bong instructions that someone had left down the side of the sofa. Bong instructions? Ah yes, the perfectly planned party, completely undone by one simple oversight. These kinds of things happen more often than not. Or maybe it's just confirmation bias because who tells the story of everything going according to plan? Some friends and I did the same thing. Collected all the receipts, all the trash, bottles, etc. Steam cleaned carpets and laundered bedding. Even patched a wall, shoddy, but better than a hole. There was a lot of cleaning. The place was spotless. The undoing? 2-liter bottle of puke in the garage fridge. The bottle itself was clean, but it was full. Somehow, someone had the idea to fill a bottle with vomit, clean said bottle, and put it back in the fridge, because reasons. To this day no one knows how or why this happened. Now I am picturing it as the episode when Estelle and Frank Constanza come home and finding that George brought a woman and had sex in his parents' bedroom. Nothing short of a good bottle of scotch, tell your ex, can make it up to your buddy. L for your friend, even his mom knew he wasn't getting laid. Today I fucked up a condom demonstration. Yesterday my life sciences teacher made me demonstrate to the class how to put on a condom. I knew he would choose me. I'm quiet and socially awkward and he's basically the tough guy gym teacher character in every high school movie. A man eats kids like me for breakfast. So, there I was, center of attention, using 2 of my fingers as a penis for the condom to go on. My teacher encouraged, pressured me to talk through the process, but I was too nervous to speak. My awkward silence was his cue to embarrass me with questions like, have you ever actually used a condom before? Do you need a smaller size? Would you like one of the other boys to show you how it's done? Without even thinking, I replied to the 3rd question and said maybe your daughter can show me. The class laughed, out of shock mostly. I don't think anyone expected that to come from me. Least of all my teacher. I've always known he had a daughter. I just didn't know she was 7. Not until my teacher instructed me to go the principal's office and share what I just said about his little girl. I had one job. TL, doctor, I was asked to demonstrate to the class how to put on a condom and ended up in the principal's office looking like a pedophile. Edit, I really do appreciate all the comments advising me to take legal action against the teacher. But I'll be honest, I'm not gonna do that. I don't want any trouble, especially not the kind of trouble that will get someone fired. I know the right thing to do would be to stand up against my teacher's inappropriate behavior, but truth be told, I just wanna finish my final year of high school in peace. I probably sound like such a loser right now, but please understand where I'm coming from. I get bullied all the time. I just wanna stay under the radar as much as possible. Also a teacher, and also think he should be investigated for this. My first thought when you said he sent you to the office was that it would backfire on him because you would be explaining what brought you to saying those comments. Why didn't it play out that way? Did the principal not ask what lead up to that situation? Sounds like you were let down by both the teacher and the admin in this case. The man was straight up bullying you. He is a jerk. Well done by saying it. He embarrasses you, you take it and give a comeback, and he is sending you to the principal's office. What a dick is that guy. PS. Such an awesome comeback. It was the first decent comeback I've ever delivered in real time. Not sure if it was worth it though. I'm sure the target on my back is even bigger now. Your teacher was way out of line with those comments. Make a complaint. It's utterly inappropriate to ask a student about their experience with condoms. This is totally true. Other students would corroborate, and I suspect you could actually call his behavior sexual harassment. I'd go after him full on. Yesterday my life sciences teacher sexually harassed me in front of multiple witnesses. This 100% so disgusting and inappropriate. He needs to be fired. If in doubt, I had no complaints from your wife last night. Edit, you also can't put a condom on safely with one hand, as you have to pinch the top as you roll it down so there's no air bubble there. I was gonna say, usually your wife does it for me was what I was thinking, lol. Today I fucked up by shredding my butthole. Obligatory, this happened a few hours ago. I am also a straight male if that matters. To start with some context, I had been having a few stomach aches in the past few days, but today was exceptionally vivid. I had to relieve myself, so I went to the bathroom, a perfectly sensible and logical solution. I sat down, and instantly I knew that I might not get out of this alive. One of my fears since I was a kid was a situation where I could no longer physically poop, where the poop itself would have been too massive to even breach my pie. Today I fucked up plainness. Today was that nightmare. I steadily began pushing, carefully analyzing the feces size. It was a behemoth of a mythological size worthy of a legend. My stomach cramp grew stronger. I had to relieve myself, and at once, lo and behold, I felt my anus stretch in ways that shouldn't be possible. I feared for my butt, and in panic, I immediately started pushing with all my might. The rectal elastic expanded in an orchestra of pain and suffering, the violins grating my anus lips and the oboes chanting my misery. The mighty poo forcibly accelerated out of my butthole. I felt a sting, more powerful than any wasp, traversing my body. My legs were shaking, my soul quavering, my will defeated. Pain resonated as my body secreted gallons of sweat. The pain did not stop and rather transformed into a throbbing, burning sensation. Something did not go according to plan. I mustered the courage, folded 3 squares of toilet paper, and wiped away whatever remained of the aftermath. Blood. Not good. What was supposed to be a soft and gentle toilet paper felt like alcohol rubbing a fresh wound. For every wipe, I hissed like a snake, staining the tissue with red. I had to go to the bathrooms a few times after in fear that my butthole started bleeding again. My butt still stings, and I hope it heals fast enough until my next defecation. According to Google, the anus can stretch up to 7 inches in diameter, but turns out it needs a bit of time to reach that length. A quick expansion will tear your asshole, shaking your will to live. I am now afraid to go poop again, and await the moment with anxiety. Too long didn't read. I had a bad stomach ache, went to the bathroom to relieve myself, and instead found a netherworld of pain and blood as I teared my butthole from a humongous feces. Reminds me of the time I walked into a stall in an airport restroom and looked into the toilet and saw what I can only describe as something of equivalent size and shape to a Monster Energy soda can. The water was clear, so the toilet was flushing, but the wedged log was going nowhere. Time to re-evaluate your fiber to protein and fat ratios and hydration levels. You don't want to go out like Elvis. What's worse, actually dying on the shitter, or everyone thinking you died on the shitter when you really didn't. What an end to a legacy.